The doctor that gave the procedure to deliver the baby, he handed me the baby and he looked at me. He said, "Are you sure this baby's yours?" And I looked at the doctor. I looked at the doctor. I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Because this baby's white." I'm looking at him like, "What do you mean this baby's white?" This is a picture of Ileana when she was first born. And when the doctor made that comment.
After she got pregnant, a letter she sent them. Her ex that she was dealing with had contacted me on Facebook. He was basically saying like, "Yo, Bryant, Jasmine, does she have you on child support and stuff like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, she does. She's been having me on child support." He was like, "Well, that's crazy because I'm taking care of her too." So it's like...
This case kicks off like a soap opera with yelling under the surface. Mr. Portis says he's not the dad, and child support is ruining his life. Ms. Middlebrooks is like, "Yes, you are," and court gets messy fast.
Mr. Portis, you and your mother have petitioned the court for a DNA test because you are certain you are not the father of the defendant's daughter, Ava.
Correct.
You say your life has been ruined and need today's paternity results to set the record straight.
DNA tests. No one showed up when they were supposed to. Portis missed court, so boom, he's stuck paying. Jasmine missed too, and now everyone's confused.
Don't you have to get a DNA before you can be put on child support?
We went
You
together.
didn't show up to court twice.
It was once.
You paying child support for this baby?
Yes. Thousands of dollars.
But you say you've never had a DNA test?
No.
And that's because you had a court date.
And he missed.
So you were named
And
the
they
father by
established
default.
paternity. Yeah.
Yep.
That's how it works.
True.
Portis says they weren't together when she got pregnant. Jasmine says they were still a thing. Then Facebook exposed a secret boyfriend. Oops.
But when she got pregnant, we stopped talking. We weren't talking at the time that she got pregnant. Like, she had hit me up and was like, "Hey, I'm pregnant and be prepared
so wait,
for child
we
support
were definitely
and all this
together.
other
We were
stuff."
definitely together.
No,
Our text.
no, we weren't, because I found out that she had another boyfriend. Because I looked on her Facebook and I seen her with this dude. And I'm like, "Who is this?" And then she like, "Somebody I used to talk to."
Jasmine wrote a letter to her ex after getting pregnant. She says it was just friendly. Portis isn't buying it. Judge Lake gives them both the serious look.
After she got pregnant, a letter she sent them.
Wait a minute.
I sent the guy a letter telling him that I was pregnant, letting him know what was going on.
This is exactly why young people don't have no business making babies. You can't even tell the story to make no sense. Miss Middlebrooks, what was your relationship with this other guy?
We were dating.
Portis's mom jumps in and the yelling begins. Everyone's shouting like it's a family BBQ gone wrong. Judge Lake has to shut it all down.
Their relationship. I mean, when were they?
Did I have
y'all in a
intercourse with you?
relationship?
Were I with you? No, I didn't think so. Well, nobody
Honor.
talking to you.
As a
So,
grown woman,
I don't
Hold
care.
on,
stop
ladies.
disrespecting my mom.
Ladies. Mr. Portis, tell me how you found out Miss Middlebrooks was pregnant.
She had told me.
What was your response?
I didn't really believe her at first.
Jasmine's ex messaged Portis on Facebook. Turns out he's been helping out too. Now Portis is like, "What am I even paying for?"
Her ex that she was dealing with had contacted me on Facebook. He was basically saying like, "Yo, Bryant, Jasmine, does she have you on child support and stuff like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, she does. She's been having me on child support." He was like, "Well, that's crazy because I'm taking care of her too." So it's like, just like an imbalance here.
Even Jasmine's aunt says she first said the ex was the dad. Jasmine says that's not true. Portis remembers her telling him to leave. This is a whole mess.
yes.
Who did she tell you the father was?
At the time, the only person I knew was the ex.
Who did she say the father was?
She said the ex.
I already
That's
knew
my
that.
son.
I said the ex.
But I thought it was my
Fine.
son all
No,
along.
hold on. I could tell by the way you were telling that story that you were trying to be evasive about something.
But
Jasmine says Portis is all over the place. He didn't know missing court made him the legal dad. Judge Lake gives a quick law lesson.
That came later on down the line when she was 1. So
You
they
did
found
the
out
child
much.
support a year later.
Yeah, they found out much before that he was the dad.
At some point, you came clean.
Yes, not even long after that.
So did you let your ex raise the baby? Ava's too. Is he like he was at the hospital? You let him raise her?
Yes.
Portis has only seen his kid 4 times. His mom hasn't seen her at all. The judge says, "Y'all need to fix this."
So this child you've been paying child support for.
Only seen her 4 times in my life.
And I've never seen the baby. But I'm supposed to step up and be a grandmother.
I didn't ask you to step up. I want Brian to
You
do the DNA
you
test.
you messaged my phone talking about
What
well,
do
you're
I need
some
you
type
to
of
step
grandma
up
and
for?
this and that
What
and
do
the
I
other.
need? Yes,
How can I
because
be a
you're not
grandmother
encouraging
to
him
a
to get the
baby I've
DNA
never
test
even-
done.
I did.
Not continue to.
You backed out.
I did.
You
This
encouraged
is
him.
my
You
son.
backed out. Even if Portis isn't the real dad, he still has to pay. It's too late to fight it. He says he's learning the hard way.
There's still a very real possibility you're Ava's father.
Yes.
And if you're not, you may not be able to get yourself off child support. Because
would
you
take-
all may have waited too long. And the court will follow what is in the
right.
best interest of the child. Sometimes we have to learn lessons the hard way.
You're right, Your Honor.
Judge opens the envelope with everyone holding their breath. Surprise.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Portis, you are the father.
Starts off like a Lego to the foot, pure pain. Mr. Pace is crying over Prince, thinking he's the dad. Plot twist. His girl may be hooked up with his best bud.
Mr. Pace, you say you will be crushed today if DNA results reveal you are not biological father of your son. You maintain that the defendant betrayed you by cheating with Prince's second possible father, your best friend.
Yes, Your Honor.
They met because of short shorts and fast moves. She moves in with him and his BFF, then finds out she's pregnant. Mr. Pace thinks he's the dad, and they move out together.
Well, we met while I was actually driving. It was a hot day. She had on short shorts. I'm a leg man.
Okay.
I had a conversation. I ended up getting her phone number. We went out on a few dates. We kind of bonded real quick. She ended up moving in with me and Mr. Randolph. Shortly after her moving in, she became pregnant.
Drama time. She felt lonely, had one drunk night, and oops, ended up with Mr. Randolph. Says it was a one-time thing. But guess how Mr. Pace found out?
I wouldn't necessarily call it a love triangle because the situation with me and Randolph only happened once. Upon me being in the house with Byron, the thing is, he works at night. I kind of took that as a feeling of neglect. The situation with me and Randolph was a mistake I think I ever made because I've never intentionally set out to hurt Byron.
Big fight, she drops the baby bomb. Maybe your best friend's the dad. Randolph confirms it. Mr. Pace keeps cool and asks for a DNA test.
We were actually in a heated argument at the time that it occurred, but it kind of just got blurted out to me that Mr. Randolph could be a potential father for Prince.
And just out of the blue, she yells, and by the way, your best friend could be Prince's father?
Correct.
Randolph's excuse? Drunk and dumb. Doesn't even know if protection was used. Mr. Pace is left dealing with hot garbage nachos level of nonsense.
I wasn't in the right state of mind. We both was intoxicated. He was out promoting clubs. She used to come home from the club intoxicated, looking for him. He's not there. Me and her talk.
And so was this sex unprotected?
Honestly, Your Honor, I was intoxicated and I really don't recall.
Now it's the whose nose is it games. Miss Fobbs kept the secret for years, scared to tell. Heavy stuff, but Mr. Pace has always been the dad figure.
Yeah, he looks like Byron more than he looks like Randolph.
Yeah, I see my nose a little as well as maybe my upper lip a tad bit. The nose kind of flares out like mine.
Was it a secret you were holding and during the argument you just had to let it out?
Yeah.
Mr. Pace feels torn seeing them both daily. Miss Fobbs wants to fix everything and stay a family. She's hoping love wins over betrayal.
Well, it's been difficult. I love her, but it's just been difficult when you're caught between two people that you care about. But you still have doubts. Like I say, I see this man on a daily basis as well as I see her on a daily basis. So when you have a small thought in the back of your head that this may have occurred and you don't have the initial proof to find out that it's not true.
Boom, DNA test says.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Pace, you are not his father.
This whole thing started like a cartoon fight with big drama. Mr. Kidd says he got tricked into being a dad, and Ms. Rawlings says nope, he can't even have babies. And just like that, we're off to the races.
You say Ms. Rawlings is a manipulative user who convinced you that you were the father of her son, Nathaniel, then changed her mind when someone better came along. You and your mother say Ms. Rawlings' mind games have wreaked emotional havoc on your family, and you are 100% positive you are her son's father.
This love story is more like a messy sandwich. She was with Kidd, then another guy, back and forth like a seesaw. Sounds like a baby mystery was already cooking.
How it happened was we met through a mutual friend. I didn't know anything about Mr. Kidd. Starting off, my mutual friend ended up leaving, and the situation that I was in, I didn't have anywhere to go. Everything progressed and everything started off. Somehow another female came into the picture, and I went off and did my own thing and was dealing with him and another gentleman also.
Now we're talking about blood and science and maybe magic. She says Kidd told her a baby with him would be danger zone, but his mom says that's not how blood works.
When I found out I was pregnant, Mr. Kidd told me himself that he had some type of rare form blood disease and that me and his child would die if I was pregnant by him.
It's not a rare blood disease. I am ARH negative and he is ARH negative. If she's RH positive and doesn't get the necessity shot during the pregnancy, it could prevent her from having future children or that child could pass away.
Grandma saw a baby pic and went full detective mode. She was like, that's my baby, even though it wasn't hers yet. Then she met him and fell in love instantly.
I got a phone call from my daughter, and she said, Mom, you need to look at this picture. She sent me a picture of the baby. I was like, who got my son's baby pictures? She said, that's not your son. I said, yes, that is. I gave birth to him. I know who he is. So I contacted his friend who gave me Miss Rawlings' number. I called her and asked, we talked for a couple weeks, and I asked if I could see the baby, and she said yes.
They pulled out old pics like it was a baby twin contest. Grandma swore he had her lips, and everyone laughed. The judge was like, this is getting good.
And when you look at these pictures, what do you see?
My son.
Your son on the left, and that's Nathaniel on the right. And you really believe, as you look at those pictures, that's your grandson. And as we take a look at the second picture, kid is a teen, and Nathaniel.
Oh, he has my lips.
You think they look exactly alike, minus your lips, those are your lips.
He's got my lips.
Even if she thought kid wasn't the dad, she let his mom visit. She wanted the baby to have family love. That made the courtroom all soft and mushy.
Me being me as a mother, and I wasn't able to grow up with my father. If Mr. Kid can't see the moments that he's missing, at least his mom will be able to have them, and his family has some choice.
Here at the defendant podium, you say you know Mr. Kid is not your child's biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Grandma says she was never told no, you're not grandma. They shared baby pics and stories like a real fam. But now the other guy is sneaking into the story.
I've never one time been told I wasn't the grandmother. She did not ever say. She said it's a possibility between this one guy and my son. And as I sent her picture, she's like, yes, I believe it's Kevin's.
Did the other guy, the other potential father, did he ever acknowledge that he could be the father or express interest in being in Nathaniel's life?
Yes, he did, because he was the one that actually told me to get a test.
The other dude showed up at the hospital like it was his baby. His whole family thought so too, but no one signed the baby papers.
The other guy actually came to the hospital after I gave birth to Nathaniel, and they instantly, you seen it in his face and in Nathaniel's face, his face.
The other guy?
Yes, because he.
Did he sign the birth certificate?
No, because I didn't have my ID with me at the time.
So there's no one listed as father on Nathaniel's birth certificate?
No, you're not.
Grandma got baby duty for a whole month. Mom wrote a note like, here, you watch him, I gotta work. Judge read it like it was from a movie.
She gave me the baby for a period of time with a
How long?
I had him for a month and a couple days. I got a handwritten letter of custody.
Because of the fact that I had got a job that was paying $10 an hour, and I didn't have anybody to watch him. At the same time, trying to figure out who's going to watch my child and me not.
A real doctor came in to clear up the baby-making mystery. She said kid might have had a sick thing as a kid, but it doesn't mean he can't be a dad. Boom, science drop.
So I think there's two separate issues here. There was an issue about Rh blood incompatibility.
Yes.
And that has to do with a mother and a baby. And if there's different blood types between the father of the baby, positive and negative. He had a separate issue, which was a childhood infection, repeated urinary tract infections to STIs like gonorrhea and chlamydia. Those can cause inflammation in the testicles.
Judge read the test and boom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Kidd, you are the father.
This whole thing kicks off wild. Judge says it's Beto v. Bolton, and Ms. Beto's mad over a DNA test. She says it ruined everything, and we just getting started.
Ms. Beto, you say you were furious when the defendant asked you for a DNA test on your 7-month-old daughter, Ileana. Now you claim that request has broken up your happy home.
Bolton been here before and found out he wasn't the dad. He was hurt, but moved on. Now here again. Baby drama seems to follow this guy.
Mr. Bolton, you are not his father. Mr. Bolton, so what has happened since you were last here?
Since last time I was in court, I was very devastated to find out the news about the young boy not being mine. When the baby was born, I cut the umbilical cord, the doctors wiped the baby off, and they gave Miss Beto the baby.
Doctor handed him the baby and said, "You sure this one's yours?" Like, bruh. What? Bolton been shook ever since.
The doctor that gave the procedure to deliver the baby, he handed me the baby and he looked at me. He said, "Are you sure this baby's yours?" And I looked at the doctor. I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Because this baby's white." I'm looking at him like, "What do you mean this baby's white?" This is a picture of Ileana when she was first born. And when the doctor made that comment,
she said her family got all types of skin and eye colors. Basically, don't judge the baby by her shade. But Bolton still got questioned.
We're mixed.
I'm Dominican and black. People in my family have different color eyes. My eyes are hazel. My father's eyes are green. He told me that when he was a young boy, when he was a baby, as a matter of fact, his eyes were blue and then they turned green because people continuously said, oh, she's white. Oh my God, she's so white.
When the doctor asks you,
Look,
before congratulations,
People keep saying, she too light to be yours. Even the boss and grocery folks asked him. The man's whole life turned into a guessing game.
Your Honor, maybe 2 weeks when Ileana came home, the same boss that we both work for him, he came to the house and brought a stroller to the home as a gift. And he's from Alabama, he's country guy, But he looked at the baby, and he's like, Rico, this baby yours? I look at him like, what you mean? He says, this baby's white.
Beto says yeah, she slept with someone else, but it was after Bolton cheated first. Still, now things messy.
have you slept with anybody else?
We actually broke up last year around August, and it was due to infidelity on his behalf.
Before, I got a couple buddies I hang out with. They do things on the side.
Your Honor,
Now,
I saw
my
the texts
association
from the
being with that
females.
point, well, I should cheat just to make you happy. Because this is what you're doing. You
That
putting
was
pressure
your
on me.
logic?
They tried getting back together, but then, bam, text from the other guy. Plus baby pics that looked a little too familiar. Bolton's radar going off.
When she came back together, we got together. We moved back in the same house together. But in the midst of this, she's still going out there to her family's house. Middle of the night, I pick up the phone. Text messages from this guy. So I have reason to believe, like, okay, you tell me you stopped messing with him. I still think that you're still with him.
He saw text messages
even-
from the guy. He never saw me respond.
He shows pics like he's on a baby detective show. Says both babies look like twins. Everybody's confused now.
His daughter looks like my daughter.
But how often is it that babies can look alike?
I just want to show you this evidence right here.
But I don't think she looks like the other man's baby.
Okay, that's Ileana, and that's me. Ileana's pink, Caucasian, white, and you see me.
Really?
I'm brown, no blue eye. The only thing I see is a nose.
If he felt like that, Your Honor, why stay for 7 months?
He's like, no baby in 5 years, then boom. Baby right after breakup? The math ain't mathing for him. Dude is suspicious.
When she left, her and this other guy was messing around. When she came back around, we was living together. I feel like, maybe she's still been messing with this guy. Because all of a sudden, like she said, we've been together 5 years. It's the first time she ever got pregnant. She's coming back around, boom, baby. Like, what's going on?
They play a cute baby video. He looks like a proud papa, but doubt's still creeping in.
You even submitted a video. It really shows how committed he is to her.
Say hello. Bye-bye. See y'all later. I love Ileana.
Judge drops the truth.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Bolton, you are her father.
But what I tell you,
This whole thing starts off super deep, like sad right away. Ms. Walker wants to know if her son's baby is really her grandson. She's got love to give, but needs the truth first.
Ms. Walker, you say before your son Delante's tragic death, he had doubts that he had fathered the defendant's 1-year-old son, Delante Royal. You claim you need today's DNA results so you can embrace this child as your grandson.
Here's where the drama drops. Text messages from another guy. Delante saw them and got real suspicious. That's when he started doubting the baby was his.
He seen text messages between her and the guy around the time when she conceived. He had doubts. One morning, I overhear them arguing. They got the puppy love going on. I hear them arguing. I didn't think nothing of it. So it got louder than usual. So I go in there, I'm like, what's going on? Mom, she's H, she's this, she's that. 3 months pregnant at this time.
At first, everybody was happy like it was a baby party. They even called the mom Ladybug, which is kind of cute. Nobody expected drama was coming soon.
the moment we found out we was pregnant, he told me before that I was pregnant even before. We got to the place, he was excited, she was excited.
When they told me, my son came to me, he said, Mom, what if I tell you that I got a baby on the way? With who? Ladybug. I'm like, okay. So I immediately get on the phone with her. Oh, we're gonna go take a test today. We went and took the test, came back positive. We all were happy.
Delante said he was cool about the baby, then secretly told his mom he wasn't sure. He didn't want to ruin the mood at the hospital, but inside, he still needed answers.
The day of the birth, we're all in there, we're all happy. It was her, kissed the baby on the forehead and everything. She asked him, she said, Delante, do you wanna, when she asked him, did he want a DNA test? He looked around, seen her family members, he told her, but then later on that day, he looked at me and Mom said yes. I need a DNA test.
Oh.
Turns out he didn't sign the papers because he didn't have his ID, but his mom thinks he just didn't want to. So now we're all like, what's really up?
Why he didn't sign a birth certificate, Your Honor?
He didn't sign it because he didn't have his ID. When we kept telling him he was being irresponsible, that was not my fault. He even got his dad's first name and middle name. Would have gave him his last name, but he did not have that ID. So that was not my fault. I believe it.
You just thought he was being irresponsible,
Yes.
and he just forgot it. It was so much going on.
Yes.
3 weeks later, Delonte passed away. Ms. Walker held on tight to the baby and mom, but that old doubt didn't go away.
So how soon after baby Delonte was born did your son unfortunately pass away?
3 weeks.
Oh.
I drone to him and Ladybug, because that's all I had left, you know. He was my oldest child, you know, but he was still my baby. So I needed that comfort.
Even with love in her heart, Ms. Walker couldn't shake the doubt. She started remembering all the stuff her son said. Ms. Royal was like, no way, he loved that baby.
I think time, me dealing with my son's death, and then me remembering his doubt. Because I blocked it out, you know, because I was dealing with my son's death. The doubt came back.
When she said they had doubts, I never knew. Like, cause, you know, I kept asking for the DNA test. I had no problem with me. He always say, my boy, my boy.
Boom, DNA test says.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Monique Walker and Delonte Royal is 99.99%. You are related.
This case starts like a mess from the jump. Ms. Nesbitt says Mr. Henderson is the dad, but he's like, nah, probably the neighbors. And boom, the baby drama begins.
You are suing to prove to Mr. Henderson that he is the father of your 7-month-old daughter, Zion. Say that when the results prove you right, you expect Mr. Henderson to step up. Mr. Henderson, you claim your case is simple. You say Ms. Nesbitt cheated on you with her neighbor during the window of conception, and he is Zion's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Dude signed the birth certificate without her knowing. She told him not to, but he snuck down like a secret spy and did it anyway. Now he's all confused about being the dad.
You know that's your child. You've been knowing from the beginning. You signed the birth certificate. You know the baby yours.
Yes, I did because
He did what? I went downstairs to go get my birth certificate and his name was on there. I told him not to put his name on there because I had doubts from the beginning, but he snuck anyways and signed his name on there.
You had asked him previously not to sign it because you had doubts yourself.
Judge Lake's like, bro, you signed it. You're the dad. Mr. Henderson acts like it was just a maybe sign, but this ain't Netflix. It's real life.
When you sign a birth certificate at a hospital, you are acknowledging paternity legally. So when you signed your name, you said, I'm the father, I'm responsible, I'm gonna take care of this child.
Yes, Your Honor.
So why are you not taking care of the child and only bought some diapers?
She talking about the baby's not mine, Your Honor. I can't be no man that's taking care of another man's baby.
She got mad and yelled the baby might be the neighbor's. He looked shocked, but wait, there's more crazy coming.
Because she kept coming to me like, this not your baby, LaDon. Like, I came in the house one night drunk because I came in late, but I come in, she get the argument, oh, she's not yours, that's why she's not your baby. She could be Mr. Brown.
Did you say that?
Yes, Your Honor. I did it out of angry. I was really angry when I said it.
She said it several times, Your Honor. Several times.
She says he slept with his cousin and now she's hurt. He goes, that was before you. Like, that helps. This whole thing's wild.
He had sex with his cousin, and I felt very vulnerable about it.
Yes, I did, but that was before her. She already knew about that.
You know, I received the inbox telling me she said that she had sex with my little black car and they had a baby. And I felt very astounded about it. So, I felt...
She told you before that when you were sitting in the car with your friend.
You got her
Yes,
pregnant.
it is. It's true, Your Honor.
She got in a fight with Mr. Henderson, and the neighbor slid in to give her a massage. That massage turned into a whole situation. She got in a fight with Mr. Henderson, and the neighbor slid in to give her a massage. That massage turned into a whole situation. 2 weeks later, baby on the way.
Well, me and Mr. Henderson, we got into an argument, and it led in my apartment hallway, and Mr. Brown seen, so he came to my door, he comforted me, and it led off to him coming in, giving me a massage, and led off to me, yes, one night, and 2 weeks later, I ended up pregnant, and I told Mr. Henderson.
She also say I had slept with Mr. Brown?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, she did?
She told me she used the condom, Your Honor.
Neighbor Mr. Brown shows up like, yeah, we did it once. He says they kept texting using fake names like Nancy. This just keeps getting messier.
I first met her, she had moved to my apartment, been a couple doors down. I used to always flirt with her, to blink an eye at her, you know what I'm saying? Because she was a cute girl, you know?
But you did have a sexual encounter with her.
Yeah, one time.
It was just like birthday sex, that was about it.
It wasn't more that she used to always hit me up and text me and all that stuff. I used to for names like
It was
this
just
Tracy,
one time.
Nancy.
Your Honor, she's telling me that it if it was more than one.
He says they used protection, but maybe it busted. Then he's like, she said the baby's not mine. Sir, pick a story.
You only had sex the one time?
Just that one night on her birthday when her and him
And
got
the
into
protection
it.
broke?
I don't remember protection broke. I was buzzing a little bit, but I don't remember no protection broke. You know what I'm saying? Reminds you, I just came to the comfort that one night because them two had got into it, so I had went down there comfort one night, gave her a little massage places, and you know what happened after that.
Now all of them are just yelling and bringing up Facebook posts. Nobody knows anything for sure. Judge Lake got to clean this mess up.
And then when they get into it, you know what I'm saying, she write little things on Facebook, you know what I'm saying, and then when I hit her up, as soon as I get on the phone with her, I'll see her put something on Facebook and it be about me.
So you think she's trying to maintain contact with you, stay close to you because there's a potential you may be the child's father?
Face it, Dad, you are the father. He looks just like
I'm not about to step up to the plate if you keep telling me it's Mr. Brown's child.
Big moment.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are not her father.
Oh!
Well, when I told him that I was pregnant, he kind of like was shocked a little bit. Then he was like, she gonna be my 13th daughter. Like, how can I take care of all of them?
His what child?
13th kid.
I told her I had 8. When I came back into town, I knock on the door, and the door opened. I see my pajamas. Mr. Ray has on the pajama top.
That is not true to me.
The gentleman has on the pajama bottom.
Your pajamas?
My pajamas. I didn't create no drama. I didn't fight. I didn't do anything. I turned around. I tell my cousin, I said, come on, let's go.
Things kick off wild, setting the stage for chaos. Ms. Toure accuses Mr. Lacey of being an absent dad to their grown son, Trevon. She's determined to prove he's the father and end his excuses. The judge braces for a messy showdown. Buckle up, the drama is just getting started.
Ms. Toure, you are in court to prove to your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Lacey, that he is the biological father of your adult son, Trayvon Lacey. You state that the defendant has been an absentee father full of excuses, and you want it all to end today in court with the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
And here comes the birth certificate bombshell. Ms. Toure flashes it like proof of gold, showing Mr. Lacey's name as the dad. He denies signing it, claiming he was in jail when Trevon was born. The he said, she said clash gets intense, with receipts flying everywhere. Don't blink, it's heating up fast.
Your Honor, I could not have signed the birth certificate. I was not, I was incarcerated at the time Trayvon was born.
So this birth certificate, child's name, Trayvon Lacey's father's name, Larry Lacey, but it's typed in. Was he present at the birth?
He was not present, no.
You basically just gave them his name.
I gave him his name.
And they typed it in.
Yes.
Money enters the mix, and things get messier. Mr. Lacey's been paying child support for years, reducing his debt to $5,000. He admits inconsistency, but insists he never agreed he was the dad. Paying bills while doubting paternity, the plot thickens with every twist.
You owe $37,200 and some odd dollars in child support, which you have
Knocked it down to $5,000.
You've got about $5,800.
You know, sometimes during them years I was unemployed. As soon as I find employment again, then, you know, my wages start being garnished.
But you've managed to pay that $37,000 down to almost $5,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Just when it couldn't get crazier, Ms. Toure drops a double life bomb. She claims Mr. Lacey vanished after she got pregnant, living with another woman nearby. Meanwhile, she faced the fallout alone. The revelations make this a reality TV-worthy saga.
My first time I had sex with Mr. Lacey, he got me pregnant, but I didn't know it at the time. So Mr. Lacey told me he left and went out of town. He disappeared. I don't know where he went, but later on down the road, as time revealed, he was living a double life. It was another woman in the neighborhood that he had left me for. So at that time, I thought, it was over.
Here comes the soap opera twist. Pajama drama. Mr. Lacey tells a wild tale of coming home to another man in his pajama bottoms and Ms. Toure in the matching top. She fires back, denying it. The visual is hilarious, but the tension is real. The drama's far from over.
When I came back into town, I knock on the door, and the door opened. I see my pajamas. Mr. Ray has on the pajama top.
That is not true to me.
The gentleman has on the pajama bottom. I didn't argue, I didn't fuss. I turned around, I tell my cousin, I said, come on, let's go. So we left.
So do you remember this incident with the pajamas, Mr. Ray?
He is straight lying, I'm telling you, Your Honor.
Enter Trayvon, and the mood shifts. He opens up about growing up without a dad, feeling lost, and leaning on his mom who raised 3 kids solo. His heartfelt words tug at everyone's emotions. But a revelation is coming that'll flip his world.
Larry, I believe, growing up with my mom, there's a lot of things that I wish you could have been there with, as far as her having to be my father as well as my mother. I feel like if you were there, it was a lot of, heartache and headaches, which I believe are your grandchildren. They have a right to know who their grandfather is.
True.
I want to let you know that. I'm just ready to get these results so we can move forward in our lives.
The truth finally cracks open. Ms. Toure admits there was another potential dad. Trevon is stunned, his world shaken. This confession shifts everything, leaving the courtroom in disbelief, but there's still more to come.
Mom, do you know where this other man is?
I have no idea where he is, but he's aware that I was pregnant and Larry came back and all that. He's given me pictures, just in case this situation came out where the DNA say he is the father, he would be interested in getting back into my son's life.
You didn't know any of that was going on, did you?
No, ma'am.
And I'm sorry for that, son. I should have told you.
The moment of truth arrives with the DNA results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Lacey, you are the father.
Thank you, Your Honor. I told you. I told you. Now stand up, give my son his respect.
Mr. Slaughter skips court and drama sparks immediately. He claims he met Ms. Johnson years ago, lost touch, and only found out he might be a dad 2 years back. His response? That kid doesn't look like me. Why now? Hold tight, it's about to get messier.
Well, Ms. Johnson told me possibly about 2 years ago that I might be a possible father for Mr. Johnson. And my first reaction to that situation was like, I don't think so. He doesn't look anything like me. And why would you wait till he's a grown man to tell me that I might be a possible father when all this time you've known me and we've been friends and it never came up before?
Cue the soap opera vibes. Ms. Johnson confesses to calling every guy she'd been with, unsure of Damien's dad. Damien's frustrated, just wanting answers. The paternity puzzle deepens and the tension skyrockets.
So your testimony is at the point you realized that man number 2 was not Damien's biological father. You basically started calling everybody you admittedly were sleeping with multiple men. You said you were fast, telling everybody I was having sex with, you could potentially be my son's biological father.
Yes, because we didn't end up following through with it back then, and that's why we're here today.
For a second, things seem sweet. Mr. Slaughter says he'll step up if he's the dad. Damien's interested but unsure. Just as clarity feels close, the drama escalates again.
If you're proven to be Mr. Johnson's father, what are your hopes for the future?
If I am proven to be Mr. Johnson's father, I'm gonna definitely, be a good role model, a mentor, do all the type of stuff that a dad is supposed to do for a up-and-coming young man. I know it's very important for a young man to have a father in his life, and it's never too late.
Tissues ready? Ms. Johnson gets emotional praising Damien, with even Judge Lake chiming in. Everyone's feeling warm and fuzzy until, bam, another possible dad enters the scene.
Is there anything you want to say to your son? He is such an amazing young man.
He is. And I love him so much.
I love you too, Mom.
He excels at everything he does. He's amazing. People are missing out, and it's not fair at all to any of them. I feel in my heart that he's Damien's, the only one to carry on his name.
The plot thickens. There's now a 6th potential dad, Mr. Harmon, who admits to casual history with Ms. Johnson. He steps up to share his story, and awkwardness ensues.
We have 5 potential fathers.
There's another one.
So that is potential father number 6.
Yes.
And who is this man?
Mr. Harmon. There wasn't one. We hung out a couple times and had a couple sexual encounters, and that was it.
Chaos continues. Mr. Harmon only learned 4 weeks ago he might be Damien's dad. He's shocked but willing to cooperate. As suspicions grow, the moment of truth inches closer.
When is the first time you heard Damien could potentially be your biological son?
4 weeks ago.
Ms. Johnson reached out to you?
Well, we're friends. We're still friends.
Oh, wow. But you never knew
No.
he could potentially be your biological son?
No, I didn't. I have other kids, but I don't think that he's mine.
Grab more tissues. Damien shares how growing up without a dad made him feel left out. Judge Lake gives him an empowering pep talk, but the suspense over his father's identity is unbearable.
I feel like I'm not as good as everybody else because they all got dads.
Oh.
Don't ever feel
Just
like
break
that.
my heart. Don't you ever feel like that. You are worth it. You are just as good. That's why we're here for you, because you are important. Today or not, you still are worth it.
The results drop. Mr. Harmon and Mr. Slaughter are not the father. It's a roller coaster of dashed hopes, and the search continues with no end in sight.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Harmon, you are not the father. These results pertain to Mr. Slaughter. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Slaughter is not the father.
Mr. Henley is also ruled out, Ms. Johnson is convinced it's Mr. Ellerson, and a DNA test with his mom is next. The suspense is suffocating.
22-year-old Damian Johnson. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Henley, you are not the father.
Heartbreak hits hard.
It has been determined by this court. The percentage of relatedness between Miss Lethea Murray and Damian Johnson is 0.00%. You are not related.
This story is a roller coaster from the start. The judge kicks off Curtis versus Buckley, with Miss Curtis claiming Mr. Buckley is her son Xavier's father. Mr. Buckley denies it, accusing Miss Curtis of cheating, and the drama begins.
Miss Curtis, you say this court date is extremely important to you. You're here to prove to your ex-fiance, Mr. Buckley, that he fathered your 22-month-old son Xavier, because his denial has left you homeless and in need of help.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Curtis says Mr. Buckley's actions left her and her baby in a homeless shelter. She shares tearful details of life as resident 1625. Mr. Buckley tries to defend himself, but the tension is rising.
With him being in and out of our life and kicking us, not only me, but his son out of his apartment, we landed in a homeless shelter. I was known as resident 1625, sleeping in a twin-sized bed with my son.
That's not true.
Sharing
did not kick her out.
Everything with other residents in the homeless shelter.
You say he kicked you out, Miss Curtis?
He went to his landlord.
Mr. Buckley claims he can't have kids, citing failed relationships and a fertility specialist. Miss Curtis fires back, saying, "It only takes one fast swimmer." The courtroom turns into a battle of science and emotions.
Your Honor, I don't think I can have kids for multiple reasons.
It only takes one fast swimmer.
I was in a relationship before and we tried to conceive a child. We went to fertility specialists and we were on medicine and kept up with ovulation dates and the whole nine. And as soon as we separated, she ended up having 2 other children.
Miss Curtis recalls her 13-hour labor and emergency C-section with Mr. Buckley by her side. She says seeing him crying in the nursery made her fall in love again. But Mr. Buckley's doubts linger.
I was in labor for 13 and a half hours. Mr. Buckley was with me for the whole 13 and a half hours. I have pictures of him at the hospital. I ended up having to have an emergency C-section because little Xavier's oxygen level dropped and he was in distress. And when I woke up and they wheeled me by the nursery to see him, Mr. Buckley was standing there with tears running down his face. That was the moment that I fell in love with Mr. Buckley.
A witness claims Miss Curtis's house had frequent male visitors, complete with a diagram of her view. Miss Curtis insists they were friends and says one was learning English. The drama escalates.
She done came and confided in me and told me about the other guys.
What exactly could you see from your door to hers?
I could see men coming out of this door. And her
How?
running
When
up
I don't
there,
even use that
and
door.
her running up to the Africans up at the other apartments up top.
The Africans I
They
was
were
teaching English to because he came from Africa and
That's a
didn't
lie.
speak English. He didn't speak
He spoke English to me.
Child support becomes the next battleground. Miss Curtis accuses Mr. Buckley of quitting his job to avoid payments, but he says he's back at work and signed the birth certificate out of love.
Are you currently paying child support?
On
No, he
child
quit his
support,
job so he
Honor.
wouldn't have to.
I'm working right now. I'm missing out on
Just
work right
started.
now. I just started back.
Father's name, Xavier Buckley.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's you.
Correct.
You signed it voluntarily.
Yes, Your Honor.
And is there a child support order?
Yes, Your Honor.
He was supposed to pay $216 a month, and then when he quit his job, they dropped it down to $80 a month.
The DNA results reveal
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Buckley, you are not his father.
Oh, baby.
Oh boy, things kick off wild. Ms. Short and her mom storm in, accusing Mr. Johnson of denying he's the dad of baby Jabari. She's juggling school and parenting and wants him to step up, while Mr. Johnson's like, let's see the DNA first. Trust me, it only gets crazier from here.
Ms. Short, you and your mother opened your case today because your first love, the defendant, denies he fathered your 21-month-old son, Jabari. You are a single teenage mother who needs help, and you demand Mr. Johnson step up and be a father.
This part's emotional, but a roller coaster. Ms. Short shares how tough it is being a single mom and needing a father figure for Jabari. Her mom chimes in, wanting the truth, but instead of answers, things get way messier.
And my son, as a boy, need a father figure. And I need extra help, like while I'm in school.
She just need to know, is he the father? So he can step up and do the right thing, hopefully. You know, we can't make him, but we need to know, because I did stop him from coming over because I didn't want no feelings to get involved.
It's pure soap opera. They met on Facebook, fell in love, and he was her first everything. Then drama strikes. She caught him with another girl, moved on quickly, and slept with both guys within days. Now the timeline's a math problem.
It was on Facebook. We used to text. He was my first kiss, first everything. Me and Mr. Johnson had sex April 23rd. I seen him on Facebook with another female, and I was like, he just left me. After that happened, it was May 3rd. I went out to eat with some friends, met the other boy, and this not my first time meeting him, but this the first time we ever had sex.
Now it's Mr. Johnson's turn to spill tea. He didn't know about the pregnancy until 6 months in and was ready to step up. But rumors of another guy shook his confidence, and he's questioning everything.
I was away. I found out she was pregnant 6 months into her pregnancy. She told my mom and dad she was pregnant and I could be the father. So at the time, I'm thinking that the baby's mine. At the end of the day, when I come home from being away, I got her friends coming to me, talking to me about the other dude. I was there. When she called me and asked me for stuff, I was there to help her.
Ms. Short says her pregnancy timeline matches her time with Mr. Johnson, but admits another guy was in the picture. It feels like a real-life Who's the Daddy with high stakes and real tears.
My due date was January 14th. I had sex with Mr. Johnson April 23rd. And May 3rd, it's just too close.
You reached out to them as well to say that it is a possibility that he could be the biological father. You also know that Mr. Johnson is a very real possibility because of the proximity of the time you had sex with Mr. Johnson and the time you had sex with the other guy.
Mr. Johnson wrote a heartfelt letter promising to be a great dad if the baby was his. But when he heard about the other guy, doubts crept in. It's sweet for a moment until the looming DNA results remind you of the chaos.
He writes, I'll be there for you and my child. I love all mine. That one thing you ain't got to worry about. I'm going to be a great father to my children. So he wrote that letter and promised you in that moment that he was going to be a good father to his child, and believed, it seems, that it was his child.
Judge Lake goes all in, asking, what were you thinking? She reminds them parenting isn't a joke and drops truth bombs left and right. Then she tees up the moment we've all been waiting for, the results.
And what is troubling me in this moment, I have done my best to be patient, I have been frustrated, and now you've gotten yourself into this whole big drama about the situation, much less be prepared to take care of a living child, this beautiful little boy, and this is babies having babies, and this has got to stop.
The room goes silent as the DNA results come in. Bam!
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Johnson, you are the father.
This case kicks off with a bang, and you're going to be glued to it. Judge Lake starts the case of Mackenzie Vieser's Guy, where Ms. Mackenzie accuses Mr. Guy of running off after their baby was born, because apparently he already has a small village of kids. Mr. Guy denies it all, saying he never believed he was the dad. Things are about to get awkward fast.
Ms. Mackenzie, you say Mr. Guy abandoned you and your daughter, Anaya, soon after she was born, and denies he's her father only because he already has too many kids. Mr. Guy, you say you knew this wasn't your child from the moment Ms. Mackenzie said she was pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, this is wild. Mr. Guy basically says, I've got enough kids, no thanks. Ms. Mackenzie shares that when she told him about the baby, he claimed it'd be his 13th kid, but now he's backpedaling, saying, nah, it's only 8. Either way, the math isn't mathing, and it's getting spicy.
Well, when I told him that I was pregnant, he kind of was shocked a little bit. Then he was like, she gonna be my 13th daughter. How can I take care of all of them?
His what child?
13th kid.
I told her I had 8.
And then it was they kept popping up. I even went to school
that
with
was
one of
the
his
other
kids.
dude.
No.
You went to school with some of his kids?
With one of his kids. We was in college together.
This next part is bananas. Ms. Mackenzie says that after they left the hospital, Mr. Guy dropped the baby on the floor in her car seat, said he had to run an errand, and never came back. Imagine coming home with a newborn and being ghosted like this, and you won't believe what else she says next.
After I had her, he was at the hospital and everything. When he brought us home, he just basically set her on the floor in her car seat. He was like, I gotta go run an errand, and he never came back. So he just left her there. He just left us there for months.
So you're there just caring for this child?
Caring for her.
Are you calling him?
Yes, I called him I called him so many times. He even, at one point, just stopped answering my phone calls.
Oh, here comes his excuse, and it's a doozy. Mr. Guy admits to ignoring Ms. Mackenzie's calls, saying she was harassing him about the baby. Even though he admits they were together, he's convinced the kid isn't his because of what he calls her lying ways. The blame game is just getting started.
Mr. Guy, have you been avoiding her calls all that time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why?
She was harassing me.
Harassing you about what?
Baby this, baby that.
'Cause
I'm
she's your
like,
baby.
That ain't my baby, you know.
Were you sleeping with her?
I was sleeping
Were
with
you
her.
using protection?
No, Your Honor.
So how do you think you're excluded from possibility?
Like when the baby was born, I was at the hospital, looked at the baby, I said, this ain't my baby.
Here's where it gets messy, like soap opera messy. Mr. Guy accuses Ms. McKenzie of cheating, saying he saw men lurking around her place. She claps back, saying they were just friends giving her rides. If you think this is bad, wait until you hear what he says next.
Because the instance that I catch her telling lies. Like one time, me and my brother pulled up. She was sitting in the car with somebody, and they was there for a while because we was sitting up there watching them.
What were they doing in the car?
I thought they was having sex.
Really?
That night that he's talking about, I called him and he told me to come over to his house. When I got there, he was not there.
Enter Ms. McKenzie's mom, and she's not holding back. She says Mr. Guy wasn't just a deadbeat. He was out clubbing while ignoring his kid. She even claims he'd disappear for days at a time. If you thought it couldn't get worse for him, buckle up, it's about to.
I'm really upset at Mr. Guy because he denying my granddaughter. She really don't even know who he is. And I did live with them for a while, and he goes to the club. He might not even come in for 2 or 3 days.
He says I stress him because I feel like if we're adults and we live together, we're trying to build a family, you should be doing your part as much as I'm doing my part. If we're a unit, we're a unit.
This part is a little ridiculous. Mr. Guy literally brings a school schedule as evidence. He's convinced Ms. McKenzie wasn't taking classes because the schedule ends at 5 p.m., but she'd come home at midnight. Ms. McKenzie fires back, explaining her packed days with school, work, and raising her kid. But let's be real, this Exhibit A feels more like Exhibit LOL.
As you see right here, Your Honor, 7:45, this is the actual schedule they be having. 7:45 a.m., that's when classes begin. And 4:55 p.m., that's when classes end, the last class.
And you say she didn't get home till midnight.
She didn't get home till midnight.
So where are you? Class don't last that long.
I have no idea.
And now for the I didn't sign it plot twist. Mr. Guy denies ever signing Ania's birth certificate, but Ms. McKenzie insists he was there during the birth, holding her hand and signing the papers. The court produces evidence with his name and signature. It's about to get real as we head toward the truth.
Do you remember them having you sign an affidavit or an acknowledgement of paternity?
No.
Just somehow your name got up on that birth certificate.
He held my hand through birth.
I'm just
He
seeing
said
where
he was
the
the only
signature
person
at.
there. He was the only person there when I had my daughter. He held my hand during birth.
And then just dropped you off at the house.
Like we was nothing.
Why did you even come to the hospital? If it wasn't your child, why even show?
Because he was at my house.
This is it, the big moment.
It has been determined by this court. Guy, you are her father.
This case is a wild soap opera in the making. Judge Lake introduces the Eggleston twins, who claim their dad, Rodney Eggleston, isn't their biological father. They're here for a DNA test, suspecting Rodney's claim is just a cover for financial issues. Drama and secrets abound, with no end to the twists.
You and your identical twin sister state that the man who raised you recently shocked you when he announced that he is not your biological father. You've petitioned the court for a paternity test because you believe finances are motivating your alleged father's claims. That you know for sure that the plaintiff's father is a white man and you are not their biological dad.
Imagine your dad loudly announcing you're not his kids at a family party. That's exactly what happened to the twins. Overhearing Rodney say, "Y'all know they're not mine," in front of everyone. They dismissed it as drunken talk until it turned into a courtroom showdown.
Well, it all started about a year ago at his birthday party. And we overheard him speaking to some of our family members saying, "Y'all know these not my kids." That's what he was saying. We heard him. Now we was listening, saying to our family members, "Y'all know they're not my kids. I'm down here raising." That's what he was explaining to the rest of our family members. But our family members didn't say anything. Yeah, nobody said anything. It was just drama. I'm thinking he's just speaking under the influence of alcohol.
Things get messier when Rodney recalls doubting their mom after overhearing her ask another man for money during her pregnancy. Despite the red flags, he signed the birth certificates and raised them. If you think Rodney's conflicted, just wait. It only gets wilder.
I was coming home one day and she was in the backyard barbecuing, and I noticed this big, beautiful smile. Made a date, you know. Eventually, we got together, and next thing you know, I'm living in her mama's basement, and not too soon after that, she's on the phone calling some guy out, telling him to send money. You know, I'm pregnant, and she's looking at me going like this.
The twins describe a rough upbringing, with no structure and a coach stepping in to buy their school supplies. Rodney defends himself as a struggling single parent, but the twins paint a picture of neglect. This isn't just about money. There's emotional baggage, too.
You know, because my mom
know if she's gone. So even if whatever the DNA test shows, we don't even have her side, you know?
When did you lose your mom?
When we were 8 years old, in front of us, you know, away from our family, away from, you know, everything that we knew.
When your mom passed away, he did take you in?
Yes, and he took it.
Rodney claims their pale skin and a rare condition suggest a white man is their real dad. The twins clap back, saying their research disproves his theory. A witness adds fuel, mentioning their mom's relationship with a white man, turning the drama into a full-blown circus.
And you know that a white man is their father.
When we went to a doctor, she got marks on her back, and the doctor questioned.
Okay.
And
Which
they
I can
questioned.
clarify that
First
for
thing
you.
she come out, the doctor was, Dad, are you sure y'all got the wrong babies? You know, you didn't get the wrong babies? I said, okay, here we go again, you know. So I'm not the biological dad, okay.
Grandma Eggleston delivers a scathing video message, blaming Rodney for doubting the twins after raising them. Her words hit hard, and the twins share their pain over their mom's absence. Just when you think it can't get more emotional, the biggest twist is revealed.
Rodney said he's not the father. After 18 years, he should have said this from the very beginning when the first month when Sophia died. That's what he should have said when the twins were born. And I don't want Rodney to tell me ever again that he's not the father.
And that's true.
The twins express their desire for Rodney to be their dad. Despite everything, they discovered his secret journal, revealing years of doubt and pain. As DNA results loom, everyone hopes for closure, but tension runs high.
What you want going forward?
You know, I have always had that daddy's little girl mentality.
Yeah.
You know, coming from my point of view, I want him to be the dad, you know, because, you know, I'm always gonna cover from him, you know, but at the same time.
And that's the thing, has that over her.
Yeah.
Mr. Eggleston, you are their father. Mr. Webb, you are not her father.
Yeah, you're crazy. You need to go to a mental hospital.
It's not true because me and DeAndre, we were in a relationship. We were high school sweethearts. You know, I was all about him and everything. Everything was good until he started cheating.
So this is your high school sweetheart?
Yes, I lost my virginity to him.
This case is already wild. Ms. Hawthorne calls Mr. Brown a smooth-talking deadbeat, while he's over here saying she's a desperate liar. The courtroom is buzzing with what is even happening vibes. Buckle up, it's going to get messier.
Ms. Hawthorne, you are here today because you say your high school sweetheart, Mr. Brown, is a smooth-talking deadbeat who got you pregnant 3 years ago and is now denying your baby.
It started sweet, but turned into a train wreck. Ms. Hawthorne says Mr. Brown was her high school sweetheart and first love, but then he started cheating. Just when you think it's predictable, there's a sharp left turn.
This baby isn't mine. I desperately believe that she's emotionally attached to me and she desperately wants to have a family with me.
It's not true because me and DeAndre, we were in a relationship. We were high school sweethearts. You know, I was all about him and everything. Everything was good until he started cheating. So I lost my virginity to him.
This drama kicked off with an online high school romance. They chatted for a year before meeting, and now their stories don't even match. The awkwardness is already palpable, and it's only getting started.
We were dating online. That's how we found out about each other.
Oh, so you all met online?
Online after we started seeing each other because we were young, we didn't have transportation.
So you met online, you lived in 2 different places.
Yeah.
And you all were going back and forth.
Yeah.
Until you figured out how to meet up.
Yes.
How long after you met online did you meet up?
A year.
Straight out of a teen drama, Mr. Brown went to break up with her, but ended up in the back seat instead. He's all, it just happened, while Ms. Hawthorne thought it was a reunion. The courtroom's collective what says it all.
We was in the car and we ended up getting into a heated moment and both of us started kissing and ended up having sex in the back seat.
We were talking about getting back together, Your Honor.
You told her this is the last time you're gonna see each other. And you said he was trying to figure out how to fix the relationship.
Yes, that's
so
what we
you have
talked
sex
about.
in the back of this car.
Yes.
Ms. Hawthorne waited a day to tell Mr. Brown about Chase's birth, claiming they weren't on good terms. Judge Lake is like, Dad still deserves to know. Cue the frustration for everyone watching.
When Chase was born, do you notify Mr. Brown?
No. We were not on like good speaking terms at the moment.
But this is the father of your child.
Yes.
So speaking terms or not, didn't he deserve to know that the child was about to come into the world?
I notified DeAndre September 24th, so a day right after.
Your Honor, how if the baby is
That don't
born?
make no kind of sense.
Ms. Hawthorne's mom comes in strong, accusing Mr. Brown of neglect. She lists all the ways she supported Chase, while Mr. Brown's been absent. Just when it seems she's said it all, the plot thickens.
Definitely. I believe that he has said it on texts that he has sent, all kinds of proof. He looked just like him. I mean, how can you deny that beautiful baby? I mean, he's gorgeous. To say, no, this is not my child, is ridiculous. And he's never been there for him. I'm one person can say he's never been there because I do everything for him. I buy his food. I get his milk. I am the father.
The texts are the gotcha moment. Mr. Brown's messages about helping and calling Chase my son make him look guilty. He's backpedaling hard, but things are about to escalate.
You write to him and say, I'm afraid that Chase at this point will not have the Christmas he deserves. Make things right with your son because he didn't ask to be born. He will have a good Christmas, no worries. I'll just start checking periodically on what he needs and deliver it to him. I'm trying my best here. You think I'm happy about not being able to get him gifts on Christmas? I'm not. It hurts me.
The big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are not the father.
This starts wild, and you're not ready. Judge Lake introduces Hannon vs. Dorsey. Phelan Hannon's figuring out if David Dorsey is her dad after her mom dropped this bombshell before she passed. This is messy, and trust me, it gets messier.
Ms. Hannon, you grew up believing one man was your father until the age of 13 when he said, I am not your daddy.
Yes, ma'am.
Your mother then told you on her deathbed that another man, the defendant David Dorsey, is your biological father.
If you thought your life was dramatic, think again. At 13, Phelan's dad said, not my problem, kid, when she asked him to a daddy-daughter dance. Processing that as a teen? Rough. And it's about to get even crazier.
Well, I believe David Dorsey is my biological father, but I grew up with my grandparents and my mom. Like you said, I was known for a man named Kimball to be my dad. I called him one day for the daddy-daughter dance. Instead of his response being, yes, I'll be there, it was, your mother's still lying to you, not your dad, you need to go find your real dad.
How cruel.
This feels like a movie, but it's real life. On her deathbed, Phelan's mom confessed David Dorsey was her real dad. She admitted she picked the wrong guy. Imagine hearing that before your mom's final moments. David's reaction? Just wait.
My mom, we would have our heart-to-hearts, you know, when she got sick, because she was sick my whole entire life. She would talk about David. On her deathbed, she told me, I thought I picked the right one for you, but David's your father.
So just before your mother passed, she says to you, I thought I picked the right one for you, but David Dorsey is really your biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Strangers kept mistaking Phelan for Melanie Dorsey, David's daughter. People even called her by that name. Despite the hints, she'd never met David or Melanie until now. Their first meeting, not what you'd expect.
After my mom's passing, I moved away. My grandmother got sick, so I came back. I was actually at work, walking down the hall. She was calling me Melanie, walking down the hall. Melanie, do you hear me talking to you? She got all the way close, and I'm like, ma'am, that's not my name. Melanie, but you're talking about Melanie Dorsey, right? And she's like, yeah. I said, I heard it in high school. I look just like a girl. I need to meet her. It's my sister. We need to find out. And the friend that said it, you know, he approached my mom.
David walks in and says, don't know you or your mom. The audience is shook. The judge isn't buying it, and Phelan's got receipts. It's like a soap opera, and she's just getting started.
She's been told that you are her biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
You walked through the doors, you walked right past her, no hug. You didn't even really look at her, acknowledge her.
I acknowledged her. I looked at her.
You don't believe you're her biological father?
Not really, because I don't remember her mother at all.
You don't know her mother?
No.
David's denial is relentless, but Phelan's godmother spills all the tea. She saw David with Phelan's mom back in the day. David denies everything, but the tension is real. Then his daughter enters the scene.
Me and Phelan's mother, Veronica, we work together. Mr. Dorsey, I have seen him come to the job to bring her mom, her baby daddy being David. He still looks the same, but he had just got a little heavier.
Your Honor.
You don't remember any of this?
Your Honor, I've never had sex with this woman.
You worked at the fast food restaurant, though.
Yes, ma'am.
Melody, David's daughter, comes in strong, claiming Phelan as her sister. She's heard the rumors, sees the resemblance, and calls out her dad. It's funny, emotional, and awkward all at once.
You know we are here discussing the paternity as it relates to Ms. Hannon.
Yes, I'm here to claim my sister. That's my sister. I don't mean to disrespect my dad, but my dad was a Rolling Stone. He was the man, and like he was very known on the North Side for being David Watkins, you know, the slayer of women.
So.
Phelan's trying to stay strong, but she just wants closure. David's still in denial, but feels bad for her. The judge is ready for the DNA results, and you'll need to brace yourself for the twist.
Truly, Mr. Dorsey, I can't get much testimony out of you because you honestly don't remember.
No, I don't.
And Miss Hannon have formed as sisters, you believing and accepting and loving her as a sister.
I don't know about her mother's infidelity. Only thing I know is that Fallon is my sister.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Dorsey, you are not the father.
The case of Webb versus. Cole kicks off with Judge Lake, trying to figure out if Mr. Webb is the dad of Ms. Cole's 6-month-old daughter, Majestic. Mr. Webb swears up and down that he's never even been intimate with Ms. Cole. Meanwhile, Ms. Cole is super confident he's the dad and accuses him of lying to protect his relationship.
Mr. Webb, you and your girlfriend say there's no chance whatsoever that you fathered the defendant's 6-month-old daughter, Majestic. You say your evidence will shock this courtroom. Cole, you and your mother say you're 100% certain that Mr. Webb is your child's biological father and say the only reason he's denying your baby is to save his relationship with the woman he's been with past 3 years.
Ms. Cole says she got pregnant with Majestic on April 11th after sleeping with Mr. Webb, but Mr. Webb fires back, saying they've never been intimate and calling her a liar. The courtroom gets loud as Ms. Cole doubles down and Mr. Webb calls her crazy.
I know for a fact the dates line up, and I know he stayed with me for 2 months, and he slept in my bed with me for 1 night, and we had sex April 11th.
We never had sex or anything. We were just friends. We would chill out. That was it. I never stayed in her bedroom. I stayed out on the couch.
That's a lie.
And on top of that, I was only there for a week and a week and a half.
Ms. Cole says Mr. Webb stayed at her house for over a week, and during that time, they were, well, more than just friends. She claims her family took care of him the whole time, but Mr. Webb denies it all, saying he was just crashing on the couch. His girlfriend backs him up, and the courtroom is now a mix of yelling, arguing, and side-eyeing.
I wasn't living there. We were hanging out for a week and a half. Right. And on top of that, April 18th, I had moved back to Detroit. How was I there for 3 months? She had knew about it. We were friends. She trusts me. She knows I'm not like that.
I've known him for 7 years and he is not like that at all. And you called me, and you called me with his friend telling me that he was there for 3 weeks and you guys were having sex and blah, blah, blah. At first, I did believe that.
He shows texts from Ms. Cole where she admits there's another guy who could be Majestic's dad. But she also says the timing makes Mr. Webb the most likely choice. Mr. Webb isn't having it, though. Calling her messages, proof that she's unsure and just making stuff up.
This is how this went, the first message. She messaged me saying, hey, I got an ultrasound. I said, okay, can we leave it at that, Tasha? It's not my baby. I'm trying to do right in my life, stay out of my life in the inbox. At this point, I'm thinking, I feel like she's trying to say that I'm the baby daddy, but just hinting, not actually saying it. What came next? I told her, I said, I'm not trying to be mean. I just want this to end. Because I'm not a mean person. I'm not a hateful person.
Ms. Cole shows a calendar with dates marked to prove when she and Mr. Webb were together and when she thinks she got pregnant. But there's one little issue. Her timeline overlaps with another guy she was with. The courtroom is buzzing as people try to figure out if this calendar helps her case or just makes it messier.
In red is the date you were intimate with Mr. Webb, on the 11th of April.
Yeah.
The window of conception is in blue.
Yeah.
So that's the week prior to the 11th. And then Majestic was born on the 28th of January, correct?
Yes.
When were you intimate with the other guy?
May 15th, 16th.
How do you get those two mixed up? That's over a month. How are you gonna say that you think it's him and then over a month?
The DNA results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Webb, you are not her father.
Oh! Yeah, crazy. You need to go to a mental hospital.
This case starts wild and gets wilder. Judge Lake introduces Capples versus Harris, where Miss Capples claims Mr. Harris is her 15-month-old son, Jason's dad. Mr. Harris, supported by his girlfriend, denies it and says, let me live my life. Buckle up, it's about to get messier.
You say you are 100% certain that the defendant is your 15-month-old son, Jason's biological father, and today he's going to put his name on the dotted line right in front of his girlfriend. You and your girlfriend say there is no way you are Jay's father, and once the results are revealed, you want the plaintiff to leave you alone.
Miss Capples admits they weren't a couple, just hooking up after meeting on Facebook. She even made him her man crush Monday, which is awkward now. No love story here, just a messy timeline bombshell waiting to drop.
Me and Mr. Harris started talking. We used to go to high school together. We're Facebook friends. Mr. Harris, I made him my man crush Monday. He's a good guy, hardworking, good father. We messaged messaged back and forth on Facebook for a while. After that, we exchanged numbers. And after that, we started hanging out, getting up, and it just kind of went from there.
Miss Capples brings out a timeline, claiming her conception dates align with being with Mr. Harris. She's got evidence, but Mr. Harris shrugs, saying, I don't remember dates. Then it's revealed he doesn't even know her real name.
As you can see, my son Jason was born January 9th, 2016. Me and Mr. Harris were intimate for 9 months, all the way up until May. We started talking around September, Mr. Harris. Like I said, all the way up until the beginning of May. If you go back 9 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it'll bring you to April.
He only knew her as Muffin, which the judge finds shocking. You didn't know her actual name? She asks. Mr. Harris's response? Yeah. Cue cringing as we head to the hospital drama.
When we contacted Mr. Harris and told him that Ms. Shatera Caples summonsed him for a DNA test, he said, I don't know who you're talking about. I said, Muffin?
That is correct.
I'm pretty sure I told him my name. Would you remember Shantira or would you remember Muffin? Would I go by around town?
If you having sex for that many months with the same person without using any protection, you gotta at least know their name.
Mr. Harris skipped the birth, claiming work, and later refused to sign the birth certificate because the baby didn't look like him. Miss Capples was furious, and things got worse when we found out who else was there.
When you came up to the hospital to see the baby, did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I did not.
Because you did not want to, or you were not even asked?
Both. I wasn't asked. I had my doubts, and I had been had my doubts.
She wasn't even there for the birth.
I was
I mean,
at
we
work.
did. So what? Were you at work when she went into labor? Probably, but you were at the hospital, right? Does not matter. That might not even be your baby. And what?
Plot twist. His girlfriend worked at the hospital and was on Miss Capples' floor. Miss Capples says she was messy, while the girlfriend insists she was professional. The judge tries to keep order, but chaos reigns.
What is this about the hospital room, Miss Caples?
She was undergoing surgery, getting ready to have my tubes tied.
That is my job.
As a woman, I would not want to be in a room with a woman that's having my boyfriend's baby.
Okay, so you were the patient.
That's a little too much.
But wait a minute, Miss Cape. You work at the hospital. It was where they told you your station or where you were supposed to be. You were assigned to that.
Today, we got our stuff to do. Yes, ma'am.
The results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Harris, you are not the father.
Thank you.
You didn't sleep with no one else.
There you go. We did.
This case kicks off wild right away. Ms. Hummel claims Mr. Pack is the dad of her 8-month-old baby, Lola, but he denies it, blaming his girlfriend, Ms. Fuentas. Determined to prove him wrong, Ms. Hummel insists on a DNA test. Meanwhile, Mr. Pack and Ms. Fuentas just want her out of their lives. Buckle up, because this is only the beginning of the chaos.
You claim you were caught in a love triangle with the defendant and his current girlfriend, which has left him denying he fathered your 8-month-old daughter, Lola, for a DNA test to prove that he is her biological father. You and your current girlfriend 100% certain you are not Lola's biological father, and when the results prove it, you want Miss Hummel out of your life for good.
Hold on to your seats as the court delves into Ms. Fuentes' history. Turns out she's been involved with multiple men from the same family, and she's not denying a thing. The drama intensifies as secrets spill and accusations fly, setting the stage for even more chaos.
She has been known to sleep around while in relationships.
Well, Miss Fuentes, we hate to bring up the past, but you've appeared in this court.
I have.
Before.
Yep.
You've been in this courtroom. In this particular hearing, you pretty much admitted to the fact that you had had sex with several members of the same family.
Yes.
Ms. Fuentes admits to sleeping with her ex during the crucial time frame her baby Anthony might have been conceived. With no protection involved, the courtroom buzzes with disbelief. The paternity mystery deepens, and tensions rise as everyone scrambles to make sense of the messy timeline.
Well, the way I feel about it is if you've seen my other two kids, they look identical. The one with the man that I slept with, my ex. This baby looks nothing like them. He looks like him.
I wish we could go on looks, but we can't in this courtroom. And the truth is, regardless of what you think, it still doesn't mean anything, because the truth is Mr. Pack just stated in court that he is concerned.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Hummel reveals that she and Mr. Pack had been on and off since 2015. When she got pregnant, they broke up because he wouldn't get a job, only for him to move in with Ms. Fuentes 2 days later. She's left pregnant and confused while they argue over who was sleeping where and when.
Your Honor, there is also another 2 guys in the beginning of the relationship before I came that lived in the vicinity where she lived at.
That is wrong. I dated one guy and we had broke up in December and we got back together in January.
That is wrong, because during January to March, we did not have no sexual at all. And the baby is born in November, so that time does not add up.
We were together.
Mr. Pack pulls out a calendar to argue he wasn't with Ms. Hummel during Lola's conception, but she counters, saying he was at her house almost every night. Stories clash, confusion reigns, and the crowd eats up the drama. All eyes are now on the DNA test results to settle the dispute.
He submitted a calendar to the court that outlines why he believes he is not Lola's biological father. So, Mr. Pack, you say that during January, February, and March, you were broken up with Miss Hummel. You had no sex with her.
Yes, Your Honor.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Pack, you are the father. I told you.
This case starts wild. A guy named Mr. Jenkins shows up, claiming he's Andrea Bond's long-lost dad. He says he's been looking for her for 24 years, but Andrea's not buying it. Her birth certificate doesn't even list a dad, so she's ready to shut this down.
Mr. Jenkins, you reached out to the court to open a case. You believe that you have a long-lost daughter and hope to one day find her to prove you are her father. So we've located the woman you believe is your daughter, and she's here in court today.
Andrea's story is heartbreaking. Her parents died in a car accident in 1999, leaving her to be raised by relatives. Now she's homeless and raising 2 boys, and the struggle is real. The room shifts big time, and her pain is clear, setting up an emotional case.
He died in a car accident in 1999 with my mother, and I believe that that was my father.
You don't have any information?
No information.
No one's ever told you anything?
No one's ever told me anything.
And Mr. Jenkins,
Yes.
You have known about this young woman all her life.
I've been looking for her over 24 years, Your Honor. Me and her mother was in college together. And I'm telling you, she was banging. I mean...
Mr. Jenkins brings out an old ultrasound picture, claiming he was super involved during Andrea's mom's pregnancy. He says he's kept it for 24 years, which is sweet but intense. The court's reactions are split between awe and, wait, is this real?
It's an ultrasound picture that I used to go to the hospital with her.
So when you found out she was pregnant...
I was excited. I said, I got my first child. I got a girl. You know, I was just blown away.
So this is an ultrasound picture of Miss Bond?
Yes.
That you've saved all these years?
Over 24 years, I've been saving that picture right there.
Mr. Jenkins's efforts Andrea isn't holding back, asking why he didn't show up sooner if he cared so much. She questions how hard he actually tried to find her. The tension skyrockets, and Mr. Jenkins struggles to explain.
I used to go over one of your family members' house. I used to come over there every Christmas. I used to go there. Kept me out on the porch. I knocked on doors. I like to submit one more thing to the court.
I have a Facebook page. If you went for social media, you could have found me.
I did everything I could do. I've been looking for you over 24 years. That's one of your numbers that I had contacted.
Mr. Jenkins says Andrea's family blocked him out after her mom died. He claims he left his number and kept trying, but Andrea isn't buying it. The truth feels blurry, and the court's on edge.
I lost contact, like I told you, after people got in her head, took her away from me. I went by there and left my phone number, and Xavier called me. I was excited. I can get my girl, I can see my baby now. I said, well,
you
where
should
are
have
you?
saw me regardless of whether or not she was in another relationship. You shouldn't have let anything get in between you being with her or you seeing me, being around me, raising me.
Mr. Jenkins reveals he's worried about dying without a will after watching Prince's situation. He says he wants to leave everything to Andrea, so he doubled down on finding her. It's a heartfelt moment, but all eyes are on the DNA results.
Not just a while back, you know, music artist Prince had died. He didn't have any estate or nothing to leave any of his stuff to. So the things that I have or the things that I accomplished in life, I like to leave them to my daughter.
And you look at him. Do you see yourself at all? Do you say, I kind of feel like I look like him?
I look more like him to me, in my opinion.
The big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jenkins, you are her father.